Ignition. We have liftoff.
All right, Rezolve AI lovers, how are you doing today? I was not happy today because our fearless leader, our CEO, Dan Wagner, was on the Roth AI. He had a fireside chat conversation today, and there is one part that I did not love. Take a listen. Roll the tape.
In the interest of time, I'm just going to pick a couple.
Sure.
To the extent you can provide any info, Dan. I see Rezolve recently added to Target on the website. Anything more you can talk about this?
We added what? What did we add?
Rezolve was recently added. Rezolve recently added Target.com on your website.
Did we? Okay, that's great news. I didn't know about that. I'm not sure. I don't know about that, so I can't comment.
Right.
We're adding a lot of business all over the place. I didn't know we were adding Target, and I'd be surprised if I didn't know. But I trust that whoever's asked the question knows better than me.
Okay.
He doesn't know who Target is. Oh, we gotta talk about this. But before we get to that, I'm gonna jump into that. I'm gonna roast him here in a minute. But before we get to that, let's talk about Rezolve AI shares rise 1.9% after hours, securing $200 million in private placement. And looking at Google Finance, they are up 1.9 after hours. Love to see that. Now, what's going on? Well, let's take a look at the details here, folks. 2 million oversubscribed in the financing. Now, you can read for it yourself here, 37 million shares at $5.40 per share. And to me, it's positive and negative for me. It's positive because it's oversubscribed, means demand exceeded supply, so that's bullish for future price action. Now, they are essentially diluting shares. And knowing that earnings are just around the corner, that, why didn't you wait? Why didn't you wait to do this offering? If you strongly believed in the great earnings that were coming, why didn't you wait? So that kind of seems bearish to me, and I'm a bit nervous about. October 1st is going to be a big day. I'm really nervous. But we do know what happened after Citadel's last 50 million private placement. The price was, the price skyrocketed. It was off the charts. So now that this 200 million, it's huge. It's huge, and this could possibly end up being. It could end up being higher than 200 million. But it makes me wonder if they're planning on using half of this money, or a majority of this money, in Bitcoin purchases now that Tether is preparing a USAT. Now, I did look at the Form 6K, and it's September 4th, they entered into securities purchase agreements with certain qualified institutional investors who we don't know yet for the purchase of 37 million shares. Ordinary shares in a private placement at the price of $5.40. So, all right, we're good there. And so, what does $5.40 mean? To me, it means that this must have been placed like 2 weeks ago. But then it makes me wonder about, remember that Monday? Remember a few days ago when the stock dropped to around this mark and it was bought up really quickly? There's no way that could have happened that quickly. So, looking back at the chart, I think this happened like 2 weeks ago. I think this was in the works about 2 weeks ago. So I think it happened 2 weeks ago. Now, adding shares is going to be leading to some dilution, but overall, I think this is great to hear because it raises some important capital that gives it will give them some financial freedom to leverage that 200 million into good business deals. They like to buy companies, so they're probably going to buy some companies, probably put some money into Bitcoin, who knows? We'll see. And companies need money to succeed. So I'm bullish and I'm long, but I'm a little bit nervous, especially after this interview. But this means existing investors are, they're optimistic enough to give Rezolve more of their money. So oversubscribed is good. Means that there's more takers willing to buy than the offered shares. So I like to see that. And 200 million is a very large sum of money. Now, he did make a comment on the video during the conference that he mentioned his desire to acquire companies in the crypto space to build and enhance their cryptocurrency. Now, I have a feeling that a large part of the 200 million that they raised will go to these initiatives. So we could be looking at a huge presence in crypto. And I know companies are doing this these days, but I wish they would just stick to what they're good at, which is, I don't know, why is a company that is focusing on chatbots for retailers, like Rezolve is, why are they jumping into crypto? We don't need that. Just focus on the core business. But I don't know. He's the genius, not me. So I was concerned during the interview when a question about Target was raised. I showed you that video. So this is the part that I was concerned about because there was a question in the chat about Target. We showed this the other day on their website. Target is now a customer. But what does Dan say? We added what? What do we add? He has no clue. And I'm trying to figure out, how does our guy, Sir Daniel Wagner, not know who their customers are? Target is a big customer. Yes, in the U.S., maybe they're not a big customer in the United Kingdom. I know that Rezolve is out of the United Kingdom. So maybe it's not a big customer in the United Kingdom, but it's a big retailer in the world, and their stock price is in the dumps, and they could certainly use Rezolve's help in getting customers to not abandon their carts and purchase materials. So I was just concerned that why didn't he know this? Now, I think what we have to remember is that Target came from the acquisition that Rezolve made previously, the Vincennes acquisition, which I think was they were out of Singapore. Now, I believe that's probably their marketing team, Rezolve's marketing team, putting it up on their website to further their credibility, and it's their marketing team, I think, hyping it up and did not inform Dan about it. And I talked to some people in the marketing business. I know a lot of people in different businesses and people who are in marketing, and they told me, I kind of ran the scenario by them, what happened. They said this is no big deal. This happens all the time. They do stuff like this all the time where the CEO is not involved in every little thing that's happening with the company, especially on websites. So it kind of just tells me that marketing team, they're hyping it up, that their Target's one of their customers. But are they truly a customer of Rezolve? No, they're a customer previously of Vincennes, which they acquired, and it may not be a big part of their income right now. So I was a little disappointing when I heard Dan say this, that he had no idea what was going on. But as I further kind of explored it and reached out to some people in the marketing in the marketing world, they kind of said this stuff happens all the time, and they're not surprised. So that made me feel a little better, but at first I was freaking out. So I don't know. I don't expect anything significant with Target apart from them being a client now that Rezolve has acquired. They acquired that company, Vincennes. So a lot of new information is coming out every day. There's something new. I just really hope they hit their numbers. They got to hit their numbers. I'm getting a little nervous here, but I think he did make a comment that he was bullish that they surpassed their 100 million ARR mark. He mentioned that in this video. Watch the video. He mentioned it, so that should propel the stock higher. October 1st. I'm thinking that there's going to be big moves one way or the other, but maybe it's just going to be a day of plus or minus 3%. Is that possible? In a world of Rezolve AI and all of it's been, it's up 18% a day, down 18% the same day. I don't know. A lot of stuff going on, but very interesting. Protect your money. Don't lose your money. Be careful, okay? Be careful, folks. Hope you're doing well. Take care. Bye.